Hello, welcome to Intermediate Class Module 2. And by now, I expect you must have gone through the Module 1 Intermediate class. And just in case you're new here, I strongly suggest that you go through the beginners class. And when you're done with the beginners class, you can now graduate to the intermediate class. The videos are pretty short, so to help you easily comprehend and understand what you are here to learn. All right, so without time wasting, let's go straight away to the reason why we are here today. So, welcome once again to Intermediate Class Module 2, and in Module 2, we will be talking about supply and demand, order block, and we will be talking about flip zones. So, without much ado, I like to talk about supply and demand. There are two types of supplies, and there are two types of demand. I'm gonna reiterate that. Now there are two types of supply zones, and there are two types of demand zone. Personally, I like to call them swing and continuation. Now I like to call them swing and continuation. Now what you have above at the top here are the types of supply zones, and below you have the one below are demand zones. So this is the one in this first quadrant here is what we call your swing, your swing supply zone, and it is characterized by a rally, a base, and a drop. Now the rally is a buy candle followed by a single base. It could be any color. It could be a red candle, or it could be okay. For the sake of clarity, a lot of people, what the colors we are used to is usually I think green and red. So I would be using the word buy. I guess I hope you're gonna understand me. Alright, so I will use them interchangeably so you can understand what I'm talking about. So for this is an example of a swing supply zone. So what is the idea? So it comes with a buy candle, then a base. Now this base can be any color. It could be a buy candle, it could be a red candle. Sometimes it could even be a doji, then followed by a drop. Now the idea is this, from what you can see here, that when price returns back to the zones, that we expect to go back in the same direction like it happened here before. So the next one, that means you have a rally, a base, and a drop. RBD, rally, base, drop. Supply zones, I call it my swing supply. So swing supply is rally, base, drop. Now the next one is what I like to call the continuation supply. Now the continuation supply is my drop, that's a sell candle followed by a base. This base can be any candle. It could be a sell candle, it could be a buy candle, but usually it is usually small. It is small compared to the candle above it and the candle below. So you can see this is a drop, base, drop. Now the base is where we are interested in. When you want to mark your supply or your demand zone, what you want to mark is the base. What you want to mark is the base. Like you can see, this rectangle is used to mark it in the swing supply here, while in the continuation supply here, this is used to mark it. Alright, so that takes us to demand. I want to believe supply is clear. That takes us to demand. So there are two types of demand as well. Now here we have the continuation demand, and we have the swing. Now the continuation demand is called your rally base rally. That means a buy candle followed by a small candle, which could be a buy or a sell candle, or even sometimes it could be a doji, then followed by another buy candle. Now, so this is a typical. So that means we have a push. That means momentum buy, then a what, a small base, then a what, another. This is what we call an example of your continuation demand. Now, secondly, we have what we call the swing demand, which is called your DBR. So we have a drop, we have a base, and we have a what? We have a rally. You can see drop, base, rally, drop, base, rally. You can see drop. This is the red candle. Whenever you hear the word drop, I'm talking about a sell candle. A drop, a base, and a rally. Whenever you hear the word rally, I'm talking about a buy candle. So if you hear drop, I mean a sell candle. If I say rally, I mean a what? A buy candle. So for a swing supply, for a swing demand, we have a drop, we have a base, and we have a what? And we have what is it called? We have a rally. Now let me take you quickly back to, I needed to show you something here. So this is example of how the supply is. Can you see a rally, a base, and a drop, like we say RBD. Now the expectation is that whenever we see rally, base, drop, we are to mark it as traders. Then having marked it, we expect price to leave it significantly and eventually turn back into that zone. Now when price returns to that zone, we expect that it will go in the direction we want. That means it gives us an opportunity to sell. So you can see this is the supply zone. We marked it out, price left it, came back into it, and the fall began. This is an example of a swing supply. Now I go further. Now let's talk about a demand, like a swing demand. Now you can see drop, base, rally, DBR. The expectation is that price will leave it significantly, like you can see from this, and return back into the what? Into the zone. Once it returns back into that zone where we've marked, we want to what? We want to buy it. Now a lot of time people do not usually talk about the continuation. That means this one, and what? These two. People usually don't talk about the continuation supply or the continuation demand because they are not as strong as the swing. So naturally, if I am to suggest to you that which supply or demand zones should you trade, I would say trade the what? The swing, and trade the what? Trade the swing. Trade the swing supply and trade the swing demand. Now before I move away from demand and supply, I like to add one or two points. And the first point is that if you have the more the base, the weaker the what? The zone. So what do I mean by that? So let's say for example, if instead of one base here, I have 2 or 3 bases, because sometimes you could have 2 or 3 bases, like what I have here for example. Now can you see that in this let me see. Okay, all right, sorry. Like for example, now this is an example of a what? This is a rally, a base, and a drop. It is an example of a supply zone, but here the bases are much. Now the more the bases, the more it points that zone is likely to be weak. That zone is likely to be weak. But if it's just one, like we have rightly here, can you see drop, base, rally, one base only, we mark it, there's a high tendency that zone is going to hold water. The same thing applies for supply, the same thing applies for demand. So either you are trading a demand continuation or a demand swing, a supply continuation, a supply swing. It is important that the bases are just one. If it's more than one, you need to tread carefully because it's a pointer that zone might not hold when price returns to it. Alright, without much ado, that takes me to what we call order blocks. Now in some situations, when we come across when price begins to react, sometimes it's not all the time we would have demand zones. So when we don't have demand zones, we can also work with an order block. What is an order block? An order block is simply represented or defined when you see a particular candle form and the next candle forming after it is a what? Is a sharp direct contrast from it, and it has what? It has good volume. So for example, if you look below here, we have this red candle, and all of a sudden the next thing we see that is what we are seeing a green candle form and almost even covering this candle. Now look at what happened. So price left and returned back to the zone. Can you see it bounced off the other block? So when you don't have a drop, based rally or a rally based drop, you can also use what we call an order block. So this is an example of what a buy order block looks like. So let me show you quickly what a sell order block looks like. Now this is a sell order block. Now a sell order block, look at it. So we have a green candle followed by a red candle that the body is big, significantly big. What happens? Price leaves it, comes back into that very same order block, and price falls. In fact, personally, I fancy order blocks way more. I fancy them a lot because they are stronger. I love them. However, demand and supply are also very dope, but I also love order block. Lastly, on this session, I want to talk about flip zones. What is a flip zone? Now, a flip zone from what you have here is simply a zone that has been broken. For those of us who understand what demand and supply, pardon me please, support and resistance is. So a flip zone is formed when a support is broken. So for example, look at this. Now you can see that initially there was a resistance here at this point. So eventually this move broke it, and look at it bounced back on it. It broke out, then bounced back on it. That is an example of a flip zone. Now look at this flip zone. That is an example of a buy flip zone. Now let's look at a sell flip zone. You can see the price has been going down. Then all of a sudden this move broke it. Now this is the zone. You can see price moves, comes back to the flip zone, and what? It eventually dropped. Moved down, then broke. So that simply tells us that whenever usually a low or a high is broken, it could become a potential flip zone for us. So let me quickly show you, go to the chart and show you one or two of these things so you can better understand what I am trying to show you. So the major idea, like I rightly said, is that we want price to come to those zones and return. Come to those zones, leave the zones rather, and return to it. Then we will be interested in putting our money into it. So let me look for examples to buttress my point. So let's say, for example, let me see, does this guy mean up? Oh, good, fantastic. Now this is an example of a supply zone. Can you see rally? This one has more than one base. Rally, then let's say basis, then drop. Look at what happened. Price left it significantly and entered back here. When it up, what happened? It dropped. Do you understand me? So let me look for. I want to give you quite a lot of examples. So like remember, I made a very valid statement. When the bases are much more, is likely the demand zone might not be strong. Look at this price. So can you see that price left this zone significantly, came back, came down, what, hit it and went up. So this is an example. This telling you what this demand zone, this supply zone is not strong enough. Can you see? Look at this example. I'm going to show you. Now look at this. You have a drop base rally. Can you see? We don't have plenty base. We have a drop, we have a base, we have a rally. So if we are to mark it, let me use this guy. Let me use the horizontal ray line to mark it so we can see. So can you see? No much, one base, and that's all. This is the base. Look at it. Can you see? Price is really strong. Price bounced on it and hula. Look at it. Price bounced, boom, and see, look at it. Oh, it went. So we want to focus on our swing demand and our swing supply. However, if you do come across continuation, why not? Why you could try some of them out. Look at this. Look at another example. Look at another example. Really amazing stuff. Really amazing. So it just so what you want to look for once you get to your chain, you want to look for what? You want to look for supply and demand. Okay, let me give this another example. Look at, pretty interesting. Look at, if I'm to mark it, it's going to give me something like this. Look at it. Let me mark it. You need to mark it properly. Some people will say the whole of the base, not bad. So look at it. Can you see? Price left it, and what happened? Came back into it, and what did he do? He dropped. That's how to go about it, guys. That's how to exactly go about it. It's not hard, just need to look for it. Now the question I like to answer is that where do you need to look for it? Please, you need to look for supply, demands and zones on your higher time frame. That means on your monthly, on your weekly, and on your daily. If you are to go a step further, the farthest you can go is 4 hours, nothing more than that. So you want to look for these supply zones on what? On monthly, on weekly, and on what? On daily time frames. Look at this guy. Look at this. Amazing. Rally, base, drop. Look at it. Rally, base, drop. One base. If you mark it, look at what happened. Mark it. Look at what happened. Price dropped, came back into it, tested it once, down, tested it again. From here to here, you've made good money. You bounce, you leave. You don't have to get everything. See, this is 156 pips. You're good to go. Supplies and demand. I love the swing. Now look at an example. I told you something about flip zones. Look at flip zone. Look at the zone here. Look at price came into it. Look at it. He broke it, then came back into it. Then what happened? The drop started. Flip zones. Very important. Very important to what we do. Flip zones are now you get to, if you, the more you practice, the more you will be able to see them. So when you want to look for your flip zones, look for these eyes. They are they will guide you to help you to be able to draw flip zones properly. Okay, now okay, good. So usually if you are said, if this is it, look at it. It's an example. Came back, bounced on it, and the journey continued. Flip zones, very good, very important. These also, we can also call this a flip zone. Can you see that? Price left, bounced on it, bam, and what? Off it went. Flip zone, very important. They are pivotal. Look for them. Look for, if it's look for those highs and those lows. They should be able to point you to where flip zones are. So look at Okay, let's see this one now. Also spoke about continuation. Now you cannot say, no, those things, no, look at continuation demand, rally, base, rally. Look at it, it work. You mark the whole of it like this. See, can you see? Price jumped. Can you see it touched it and off it went? Rally, base, rally. It works. Okay, it works. It really does work. But if I'm to give you my professional opinion, I prefer the swing. What do I mean by swing? That means I prefer the drop base rally for demand, and I prefer the rally base drop for supply. But when occasion arises, I can also work with the continuation pattern. I can also work with the continuation pattern. All right, so I hope I've been able to explain to us demand and supply. I said, let me do a recap of what I said. So I said, under demand and supply, we have two types of supplies and we have two types of demand. We said the first demand we have is called your swing, and that is your drop, your base, and your rally. The second type of demand we have is called your continuation, which is your rally, your base, your rally, and rally. Now I said also for supply there are two types of supply. We have the swing, and the swing is the rally, the base, and the drop, while the continuation is the drop, base, drop. What is the expectation? Once we mark it, we expect price to leave the zone significantly and return back there. When it returns back there, then we are ready to put in our money, and that is how it works. So in the same vein too, for continuations, you want price to leave the zone and return back to it. Like that's exactly. Can you see this one? This is a continuation demand, rally, base, rally. Price left it, bounced on it, then what the upward movement started. Then for flip zones, I said for you to be able to effectively mark flip zones, look for the eyes. Remember I said you want the same rule applies to flip zones, also applies to demand and supply. Keep them on your monthly, keep them on your weekly, keep them on your daily, and the farthest you can go is on your monthly. Don't go whenever you are marking those zones, flip zones, other blocks or supply zones. Make sure you keep it on monthly, on weekly, on daily, and max put it on 4 hours. And that is that about that. If you need any explanation further, please do well to come to slide into my DM, and or drop a comment, and I will be more than ready to give a proper explanation to that. Thank you till I come our way in module 3.